Ew, get away from me. Oh my god. Stop. Yup, that's me. 98% of you probably have no idea who I am, but I'm Morgan and I make AAA games for a living. I just played the game Stray this past weekend and thought it would be fun to give my totally unsolicited yet honest opinion on the game from both the perspective of a gamer and a game dev. For those unfamiliar with what Stray is, it's a third-person adventure game where you play as a cat that explores the underbellies of a long-forgotten cyber city in hopes of reconnecting with her family. Stray was created by indie developers Blue 12 Studios, published by Annapurna Interactive, and was officially released on July 19, 2022. The game is currently available on PS4, PS5, and PC. So I had a chance to play the full game this past weekend and overall thought it was decent. I'll dive into the whys in a few moments and give my final rating at the end, but I do think the game lives up to the hype as potentially the cutest game of the year. Where I think the major strength of Stray lies is in its immersive world and storytelling. The developers did a fantastic job really letting you live through the eyes of a cat. The attention to detail of consistently bringing in cat behaviors into the game, from being able to scratch all the rugs to knocking down almost anything near a ledge, is honestly super cute. The interactions you can have as a cat with some of the NPCs are also enjoyable to watch. You can trip them up, mess up their rooms, you really feel what it's like to be a cat. The story's natural progression can at times feel a bit slow, but not to a point that it feels frustrating. Some of the NPCs have interesting enough backstories, and they did a great job of making it very clear what the next goal or task is within the storyline, while still tying in a healthy amount of mystery as you uncover new things. I also think for the most part that Stray could be a great intro game for newer gamers. I mean, yes, there are a few higher stress, threat evading moments, but I think it's always good to be at the edge of your seat at least once in a while. And because the mechanics used to traverse the environment are super simple, you don't need to worry about things like balancing, falling off edges, or timing jumps. But this kind of goes to a point where I find it a bit detrimental to the game. Which leads me to some of the weaknesses I see in the game. While the immersiveness was great, I personally believe that a truly fantastic 5-star game needs to be so much more than just a vehicle to ship an immersive story. Otherwise, it's kind of just like watching a movie, and to be fair, there are people who are looking for that. Here's the thing though, there are examples of episodic adventure games that are heavily story-driven, have simple mechanics, and are still really, really great. The 2012 Walking Dead game is actually a perfect example of that, where you felt that every choice in the game mattered and impacted the story that you were a part of. So where I thought Stray fell a little short is around its approach to exploration and puzzles. And to be fair to the devs of Stray, getting exploration right is actually a pretty difficult thing to do in game development because it's so easy to make exploration feel like a little boring. One of the reasons I felt like the exploration part of Stray wasn't that fun was because of something I alluded to earlier. The controls. When a game like this has clearly put some investment into building cool and aesthetic environments, I imagine players would want a bit more freedom in terms of how they roam and explore the area. In Stray, your movement feels quite restricted. You can move however you want, forward, backwards, sideways, but to do anything else, you need to engage with prompts. You can't even jump on your own. After an hour or two, it starts to feel a bit tiring, almost like it's part of the game you just have to get through. A lot of those prompts can also lead to unnecessary actions. There isn't a super clear indication to players if a prompt leads to uncovering something critical to the story, or if it leads to another cute interaction that your cat can do, which more oftentimes is the case. Now, the puzzles in the game weren't bad, they just weren't great. They tended to be on the simple side and felt a little bit repetitive. To be clear, you don't need to have tons of extremely challenging and difficult puzzles to make a good game. Actually, you probably want to avoid that as well, or players will get too frustrated. You generally want to have enough puzzles with an array of difficulties where overall, completing the puzzle part of a game feels really rewarding. While I'm glad that Stray even incorporated a puzzle element into the game, it actually left me wishing there was much more to it. I know that this isn't meant to be a puzzle-first type of game, but good puzzles can really elevate a game by making it slightly more challenging yet fun. If you are the type of gamer who seeks action and challenge from your single-player adventure games, then this game might be a little bit boring for you, But if you're looking for something that's more bite-sized, lower effort, more immersive, then this might be something you'd be interested in. And I'd say the game is pretty short. You can probably finish the entire game in like 4 to 6 hours. So for an experience like this, plus the fact that it costs about 30 USD, I would rate it 3.7 kittens out of 5. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe to see more content like this, or if you're interested in more of my life as a game dev. If you want to see more of my day-to-day stuff, feel free to check out my TikTok and my Instagram. I love any excuse to try new video games, so if you'd like to see my honest opinion on any other game, feel free to suggest that in the comments. Bye!